Ireland is going to vote to change the constitution to say that women don't belong in the home anymore. They now belong in the ditches and in the sewers and down the pub and wherever else men hang out, I suppose. You know, it's the government's idea to get us to spend more time together, which is nice. I'd prefer to be home, though, than on some shitty building site. So what about let's maintain that women do belong in the home, but change the constitution to say that men too belong at home? Then we have equality, and every day's a snow day, and we can just put our feet up, put the fire on and watch TV. Also, if there's no one in any of the homes, somebody will eventually invite some immigrants to live in them, and then the chavs will burn them all down, and that'll be no good. Imagine actually being one of these losers whose job it is to discuss the minutiae of these proposed changes. Politicians are the types of people to be on the student council at school. I didn't trust them then, and I don't trust them now. Because school was supposed to be constant warfare between the students who wanted anarchy and the teachers who wanted order. It was these exact types of weasels who were so thirsty for power they turned coat and joined forces with the teachers through a students' council, undermining and weakening the entire movement. These people have obviously continued this in their adult life and have prospered all the way to actual government through what I presume to be underhanded and immoral efforts. And by the way, I make this presumption because their distinct lack of charisma means to me that there is simply no other explanation for their success. The other element of this cringe referendum is that it'll expand the idea of family. Family will no longer be a man and a woman and kids, which, you know, fair enough. But we've already let the gays and the bisexuals in. So the question remains on everybody's minds, who else do we need to invite? Well, what came up this week is that maybe it'll be the polygamists. You know, the Mormons and the cult leaders, that kind of thing. Whew. Well, Roderic O'Gorman said that that is not the case.
A polygamous relationship is not one that represents a fundamental unit group of society, and it is not one that represents a moral institution in Irish law.
First of all, I can tell that he actually wants polygamous relationships to be recognised. How do I know? Well, he looks to me to be low testosterone, low vitamin D and low iron, and guys like that always want a sexually liberal society because they think it will get them laid more. And by the way, they're right. The problem is that everybody thinks polygamy is totally weird and sick and creepy and disgusting, and nobody would vote for this change if they knew that that's where all this is leading. Secondly, you can tell Roderic's a bit nervous here because he's aware he's about to become the first politician in Ireland's history to say the word truffle in the dail, and also Irish people can't pronounce THs as it is, so the anxiety at this point is just compounding.
Whether it's a polygamous relationship, I've heard the words Throuples thrown around.
It must have been exactly how Neil Armstrong felt before he delivered the line, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," in that film studio in Los Angeles. Unlike Neil, poor old Roderic doesn't really deliver it with confidence, so the other politician here is Truffle.
These sort of relations. Throuples. Truffles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Truffles. No, I did not.
And it all gets a bit awkward. Everyone in the room quietly reflecting on how ridiculous they've all become, wondering how the hell they let it get this far. What's really crazy about this clip, which nobody seems to notice, is that this is a liberal politician openly acknowledging that he doesn't respect polygamous relationships in government in 2024. What happened to diversity? Isn't acceptance and tolerance supposed to be limitless? It's funny that even for modern day liberals, a community having human rights or not depends on how many of them there are. There are probably about 10 polygamous couples in Ireland, so you're kind of allowed to say that the relationships don't exist or matter. In 20 years, we'll look back on how blind we were. This will be a huge scandal. A polyphobic comment that Roderic will apologise for. At that time, 2044, we'll likely be discussing the possibility of changing the constitution to implement mandatory polygamy. In other words, let's put the days of sexual discrimination behind us. Nobody has a right to say no anymore. You have to equally bang a diverse range of hotties and mingers, dwarfs, poor people, homeless people, diseased, the disabled, and it's all regulated by the government. What will the liberal argument for this be? Well, number one, less school shooters. These weird, dark, violent guys are always angry because girls aren't interested in them. Well, they're out getting laid, we can sneak into their houses and tear up their half-written manifestos. Basically, I think the idea is that everything that used to be normal is now kind of abnormal. Everything that used to be abnormal is now normal. Everything that used to be true is now false. Everything that used to be false is now true. Everything that used to be right is now wrong and wrong is now right. I think the only person who's probably really happy about this is Una Healy from the Saturdays. Anyway, guys, we are literally living through history. We are tantalizingly close, finally, to an equal society. Once we amend this constitution, women and everybody won't be whinging anymore. This is the last thing. We promise. It's not going to go any further than this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Like and subscribe.